Have you seen this in the newspapers? A satanic, ritualistic child abuse case currently being held in Glasgow, the details of which are utterly heartbreaking. But that's the point, isn't it? That's what these people set out to do. And this is what I've been warning people about for a decade, for which I was made a pariah by those within the occult community in positions of authority and influence who were able to do so, such as Peter J. Carroll, founder of the Illuminates of Thanatos. He lives right here in Bristol. Or Professor Ronald Hutton, the dress-up cloak-flapping druid, also of Bristol. Or those of Treadwell's books and the entire Treadwell's book set, a few of whom have their name in this website deathandhell.com, containing what appear to be boasts of and advice on how to get away with ritualistic child abuse. The current elder, the oldest member of the Illuminates of Thanatos, the only remaining member from the original Illuminates of Thanatos, he's Dave Lee, has his photograph in this website. Evidence, this is called. Evidence. So why has David Lee not been whipped up and properly questioned? I mean, you know what these people deserve, and it's far more than interrogation. The law won't deliver it. Need I say more? I've been warning people about this for a decade. You know, here is the thing though. People often say I am a Satanist myself, but here's the weird thing. I myself have been called a Satanist many times. So many times I stopped arguing. But I have never identified as a Satanist, and I've never been part of any satanic cult. I've never been part of the Church of Satan. I certainly haven't been part of the Temple of Set. I wouldn't join this new one with this new CIA front with their they have their what do they call themselves? I can't even remember. In America, they're so ludicrous. Another fake satanic front, existing almost entirely to deny allegations of human trafficking and the brainwashing of children through trauma. Because that's what's going on here. And this is interesting, isn't it? So we have this case being heard in Glasgow. My heart goes out to those brave survivors speaking up and making this hearing possible. But you know, reasons why I've been called a Satanist is probably because, during the 70s, by this I mean the very early 70s, I guess, very early, as in very early in the year 1970, my mother and my biological father, according to a story that my mother used to tell over and over and over again, whatever she says now, she was the altar at a black mass, of which my biological father was the officiating priest. All on LSD, it being the 1970s, everything had gone a bit naked and Charlie Manson-like. And, well, you see, the doctor had told my father that he would never be able to conceive because he'd been kicked in the bollocks by a horse and he only had one testicle left. So, yeah, they were a bit surprised when my mother became pregnant. So, you think that's weird? Guess what? This hearing began on my birthday this year. So if I thought I was going to be able to sit back and relax and forget it all and worry about nothing, this really, 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 really had me aware. Well, they would say triggering, isn't it? Very upset. And you know what's really weird as well, as looking back, I can see that it was indeed. See, when I discovered about all this, my birthday was just coming up, and it was all so traumatic that I completely forgot it was my birthday that year, and so did everybody around me. Well, apart from those that used it to hurt me even more. But my concern for other people and the danger we were in was so much that I wasn't thinking about whether or not I got a birthday card that year. I'd just been disowned by my parents. Why? Because I said, surely there has to be a link between this in the newspapers and this in the newspapers, and there's here you in the newspapers, and they knew I was about to work something out, so they disowned me. So my birthday also therefore becomes the anniversary of me being an orphan, as if you can't disown blood, mother. I don't just vanish, father. It would also disown me, but apparently there's no connection between the two of them. They haven't been talking to each other. It's just pure coincidence that they both decided to disown me at the same fucking time, yeah? Well, so that's what my birthday makes me think of. And this year, this hearing right here, on my birthday, exactly to the day, 10 years after a divination, which I know that I published about, that said it will be 10 years. I mean, whoa, not 10 years and 1 day, not 10 years minus 1 day, but 10 years to the day. And all of a sudden, the game looks a little bit different, doesn't it? Can you imagine how many people in the occult community, with their bookshops and their publishing companies, are now shitting their ropes? I've never been a Satanist because it seems a little pointless. The church is over, isn't it? Just posturing. True English Satanism has nothing in common with, if we're looking back at our history, Satanism was the church's word for anybody who didn't believe them. But it also became a word associated with those standing up against the church and state, because at the time church and state were one. Now, Satanism is a commercial byproduct of the state's own mind control programs, and we all know it. Scotland knows it. The king knows it. I bet he's shitting his robe and all. Enough said. Enough said. So I ask all of those who have at any time, I know I've been neglecting you, the Société Moutonnoir, Icon, anybody else out there who cares, who gives a fuck, who has any abilities, just to send strength, not to try and manipulate the outcome of the case, but send strength, and that there should be true justice from the case. Not for us to decide what justice would be, but just that the wrath of true justice should descend from God. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. All power and wisdom to you. Bye-bye.